Get ready for the trip of a lifetime. This is the series that brings you the most incredible and downright shocking holiday behaviour. Capturing stupid antics on smartphones. With a camera in every tourist's pocket, we're getting into the action like never before. Raw, real, and uncensored. This is the world's wildest holidays. This time on World's Wildest Holidays. Holiday thrills and spills that go down like a lead balloon.
Frankly, we were delighted to be alive.
A skydiving excursion is a smash hit.
All I seen was black. There was no light at the end of the tunnel there, buddy.
And we get wet. Wild. And drive our fellow holidaymakers up the wall on some outrageous holiday outings. But first, they say try anything once, and a holiday is the perfect place to try something that's a little out of your comfort zone. For many, that means being taken for a ride.
All right, Manta, I'm taking on you today.
This chap is waiting calmly and patiently for the ride to start at this theme park in San Diego. A ride that's going to put him so far out of his comfort zone, he'll have to call a cab to get back. They say screaming is a stress reduction method, in which case this guy is really, really stressed. But it seems to have worked. He's much less stressed now. Oh, my bad. In fact, he'd passed out from the lack of blood in his brain. And he's off again. Scream if you want to go faster. Okay, you asked for it, pal. He's praying for something. Perhaps it's another go on the ride? The end is in sight.
Ya se pasó. Ya se pasó. Ya. Ay, San Miguel. Santa Lucia.
Who is the patron saint of roller coaster scaredy cats anyway? On the other end of the terror spectrum is this. A brave woman getting into the swing of things by taking a ride on this giant bungee swing in France. OMG! She's fallen through the harness and is left dangling by her ankles, head down, swinging out of control. Don't just stand there filming it, somebody do something. Actually, one of you keep filming it and somebody else do something. Hey, you, white shirt man, catch her! That was feeble. Mind you, at least she's getting her money's worth. Finally, they slow her down enough to make a safe catch. You'll be pleased to hear that the woman in this clip was uninjured and possibly saved by the boots she was wearing. And while the theme park owners put the accident down to human error, for some reason the queue has disappeared. Can't think why. There are safer ways to get airborne on holiday. For example, by filling a patchwork quilt with hot air, tying it to a basket, and climbing inside.
How do you land? What's the best way?
Brothers Sandy and David Bachelor and their friend John went on a backpacking trip to rural China. And being young lads, they had no problem getting it up. This hot air balloon, that is.
We booked this hot air balloon trip, and we were presented with this, some might describe it as ramshackle balloon.
It was a fairly blustery day, and you could see they were having a few problems with the balloon itself.
The guys said to us, look, it's a bit windy today. I don't know if we're going to be able to go up.
Are you free tomorrow early morning?
And we said, actually, I'm really sorry. Today's our last day, so we're just going to have our money back.
At which point, the wind miraculously changed.
I'm sure we're fine. We're fine. And so we got in.
So, ignoring the glaringly obvious warning signs, they cast off the sandbags and common sense and take off into the skies. But it's not long before they come a cropper over some crops.
Oh, we're gonna land on a dude's grapes! We're gonna kill his grapes!
At this point, basically, he I don't know. We had quite a few close shaves, I think you can say. It wasn't quite clear what we were aiming for.
Well, if your pilot was aiming for a tree, then it's fair to say he did a bang-up job.
We're going into a tree. You win, Tima.
And we're kind of, we're I guess fairly deliriously happy at this point, because I think we'd been fairly terrified when we were up in the sky.
And so we all came out, finding it absolutely hilarious, and we were in the middle of rural China. So everyone from the surrounding area came to have a look.
Yeah, they've come to take a look at the 3 Westerners who destroyed their tree and crops while laughing their heads off. You may be out of the balloon, but you may not be out of danger just yet.
The deliverance local. Look at them. Hiya.
Frankly, we were delighted to be alive. And that was it. And we got on the bus and went back.
Yeah, I think that's probably for the best.
This guy's not happy. I think we just landed on his child.
It's really nice, I mean, I really like the fact that people enjoy it, because we did as well, we had a hilarious time.
You boys may have failed to soar to the heavens, but at least you walked away uninjured with your heads held high.
The deliverance local. Look at them. Hiya.
In a moment, we're packing our wellies and joining the Carnival of Idiots, otherwise known as the Music Festival. But first, for music lovers, there's no better way to cap off a holiday than with a rock concert. And thanks to this drone, we've got the best seats in the house. But while the drone pilot has his eye on the band, this fella spots an opportunity. Blimey! It looks like this guy has decided to steal the spotlight by stealing the drone! Quick fact, fans. Security teams at music festivals around the world are now using drones as their eyes in the sky. It's one job the operator of this drone definitely won't be offered. Before long, security show up and cart the culprit away to face the music. But not all festivals end in a scuffle. For most holidaymakers, they're a chance to lose themselves for a couple of days in the sights, the sounds, and the music. Like this guy, who I presume is on his way to see Dead Zeppelin? Zombie Williams? Forget it. Music festivals are a chance for tourists to ditch their everyday wardrobe and let it all hang out in their best summer outfit. But I wouldn't want to find myself in this guy's shoes. Looks like he's had a bit too much sunshine. I know it's a music festival, but I'm not sure if this guy is of sound mind. God's sake, someone help him out. Cheers, mate. Thought we were going to be here all day. Well, I think it's safe to say that his attempts to look cool have been a total flop. Oh, for flip's sake. Here we go again. Festivals aren't just about the music. They also offer visitors the chance to try new things. Like, believe it or not, ziplining. But things don't always go to plan. Like when this zipline got stuck at an English music festival, leaving one festival goer high and anything but dry. He's got a lot of bottle, this guy. With the festival in full swing, the crowd choose not to help this poor fella and instead take the opportunity to use him as target practice. Presumably for when James Blunt takes the stage later.
Sorry, dude.
They're pissing themselves. Which makes me wonder what's in those bottles. Right, how's that other fella getting on? God, he's still dragging his heels. Right, come on, lad. You can do it. Best foot forward. There you go. Just make sure you bring your wellies next time. And not just because they're comfy. Because there's one other thing music festivals are famous for.
Watch out!
Their mud. Was she weeing? No, surely. Let's have another look. No, she was. She really rained on his parade, didn't she? Her name will be Mud after that. And I'm pretty sure this is this guy's first festival, because he's a little wet behind the ears. For the record, it appears that not everyone is such a stick in the mud, especially not the South Koreans. We did some muck raking online and came across this, the annual Boryong Mud Festival. More than 3 million people visit the festival every year. Apparently mud from the Boryong mudflats is good for the skin. So much so that they make a range of cosmetics from it. But it's not just their mascara that will give you a black eye, because the festival looks like one big excuse to fight dirty. For those of us who prefer to keep it clean on holiday, you couldn't ask for more than a relaxing break by the pool. Although pretty much the last thing anybody does in them is swimming. This guy's showing off his expensive new motorbike to his poolside pals. Yeah, that's probably invalidated his warranty. Whoa, watch it, matey! The bloke you almost ran over is a traffic warden. Do that again, he'll punch your ticket. Now, nothing says holiday fun like a water slide. And this one's cracking. Rib cracking, that is. If you're wondering why he was so lucky to have fractured some ribs and broken his arm, it's because he actually tumbled down a cliff on the other side. I promise you, I'm not joking. Thankfully, he recovered and was kind enough to post this video afterwards so we could all enjoy his misfortune. This is a very close family. In fact, the kids want to do everything on holiday that their mum does. Very smooth entry. Well done, Mum. Not so good.
Go ahead, Deke. Oh, shit.
Absolutely rubbish. Nul point. Now for a short nature documentary. Around swimming pools all over the world, huge herds of migrating tourists gather. Patiently. Expectantly.
Every morning I go through this scenario of getting sunbeds.
Waiting for the signal. And there it is. At precisely 9 AM every day, the stampede for the deck chairs begins. The tourists race to mark their territory, thankfully with just their beach towels. Once a sunbed is bagged, it's fiercely defended by males and females alike. Tourists of German origin have been known to dominate this ritual. often described by onlookers as an absolute bloody joke.
Absolute bloody joke.
For decades, this behaviour has been a mystery to science. Why they do it, we can never know. But we can be sure that nothing will ever come between a holidaymaker and the chance to cook in the sun for 6 hours while reading 50 Shades of Grey. Isn't nature amazing? Not everyone wants to spend their vacation by the pool. Instead, you could bag yourself a hire car and go exploring. But so you don't end up on the road to ruin, we've put together our very own highway code. First, respect other road users, and they'll respect you in return. Why, you little... Ha! Now that's what I call my higher karma. These days we should carpool more often, but this lot are plain stupid. Seeing this just drives me mad. Hit the road, you lot. When driving abroad, don't forget to pack a sat-nav. Like this driver did when they paid a visit to Philadelphia and to the famous steps from the film Rocky. A sat-nav takes you to your destination step by step. In this case, maybe a bit too literally. Talk about a rocky road. But hey, at least we got ringside seats. Next, respect the rules of the road and do not get involved in any street races. Those familiar with the popular video game Mario Kart might recognise this motley crew and their vehicles, which are powered by magic mushrooms. Which means either Mario Karting is a real thing in Japan, or that was something more powerful than shiitake that I had with my sushi. If you do find yourself off the beaten track, be careful when taking shortcuts. For example, it's not advisable to drive across a river of fast-flowing floodwater. This guy was lucky to escape with his life. The only thing he lost was his jacket. Hang on, mate, that wasn't your cue to go back. Actually, while you're at it, I left my phone in the driver's side door. You wouldn't mind, would you? You're a pal. Thank goodness I got the new waterproof one. Hey, you're also in luck. This other guy is a mechanic. He reckons it's pretty obvious what's happened. You've flooded your engine. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Lastly, be mindful of where you park. You never know whose spot you might be stealing. This raging bull in the streets of Spain may be the best example of road rage we've ever seen. For God's sake, use your horn. Not you, the driver. We're not sure why this bull had a beef with the driver of this 4x4. I think he might have stopped on some double red lines. One of the best things about going on holiday is the opportunity to see exotic animals in their natural habitat. And get closer to them than even in our wildest dreams. Or nightmares. These cage divers came a little too close to a ravenous great white shark searching for a taste of humans while they were vacationing in South Africa. Well, not just a taste, a whole human ideally. They sound genuinely terrified. But what were they expecting from a cage dive? It's fair to say the tourists who paid for this intimate shark encounter were not shortchanged. Which can't be said for the shark, who eventually skulked away without so much as a foot for his troubles. Not every animal is out to kill us, thank God. Some just go out of their way to make us feel really uncomfortable.
Alright, so this has been a really unnerving experience.
This walkabout's more like a scene from The Walking Dead.
I feel like it's, oh my god, instead of a zombie apocalypse, it's a fucking kangaroo. And look at them, they're just standing there. I mean, should I be going down here? I'm kind of terrified, yo. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little terrified.
Really? I'm not. You don't intimidate me. Hop on, Skippy. Have they gone yet? Now, a safari is an opportunity to see an animal in its home environment. But just like if you had tourists traipsing through your house from dawn till dusk, it's not surprising that we sometimes catch them getting out of the wrong side of the bed. Just like this elephant, who got a little brusque with his tusks when approached by these holidaymakers in Sri Lanka. Who's the endangered species now, eh? But aside from Nelly here, no one's addressed the elephant in the room. Why didn't this lot just step on it? We asked a man who knows about this sort of thing.
I think the main thing is that you want to be quiet, you want to be sensible, and you want to be calm. Because the second that you start getting noisy and you start running or revving an engine or trying to drive away fast, then you're just going to be adding to that elephant's agitated state.
The upholstery isn't coming out of it too well either.
People do get injured and killed by elephants, you know. It's not unheard of, so they are a super dangerous animal. If you come across a big angry bull elephant like that in the wild, my advice would be to be quiet, be calm, and get away in a nice, calm manner.
With the coast clear, they make a break for it. But they say an elephant never forgets. So if you guys find yourself driving past here again tomorrow, I'd recommend hiding in the trunk. In a moment, we're getting the blood pumping with the world's wildest adrenaline seekers. But first, it's time for a holiday prank that's off the hook. These beachgoers decided to troll their friend by giving her a slap round the legs with a dead fish. But if you think this is all in bad taste, don't worry. This catfish has some sweet revenge in store from beyond the grave. She decides to pose for a picture.
Oh my god, I can just smell it. There's some kind of diseases that are going on. Look at this. Oh my god!
Hook, line, and sinker. Barb here has been well and truly catfished.
Hey, go get bread. Go get.
Okay, I'm getting bread. Can we? What is bread gonna do? Fucking disease?
No, you're
The
not.
catfish has venom-tipped fins that can cause swelling
We're getting bread.
and, irritation.
Fucking shit!
Oof! Her tongue is as sharp as its spines.
I'm gonna get some kind of fucking disease.
No, you're not. Dean, it's gonna be fine. It's okay. It's
With the
okay.
prank dead in the water, she was taken to hospital where she was treated with no harm done. As for the catfish, it can rest in peace knowing it made its point. But I bet that's the last time she goes fishing for likes on Instagram. Next up, we're heading on vacation with some junkies. No, I mean adrenaline junkies. The kind of people who book holidays in hot spots like this. Hello? Is that reception? Yeah, I wonder if you could turn the heating up a bit. Because I'm a ruddy show-off. But they're not born like this. Even raving lunatics have to start somewhere. Like this thrill seeker, about to try ziplining for the very first time on holiday.
Okay. Woo!
That's right, everything's going to be okay.
Sit down, lift up. Sit down, lift up.
sit down, feet up. Like you sit down, feet up, okay.
Yeah, sit down, feet up. Come on, man.
All right. I'm just testing the weight balance. I'm testing the weight balance.
Yeah, that's not quite your whole weight, though, is it?
Just go.
Exactly. Come on, mate. We've got other clips waiting here.
Oh, walk to the edge. Oh, walk to the edge. You didn't say that. I thought you meant jump over.
Ah, now he's got it. He'll soar majestically across the water, won't he? That was definitely worth the wait.
Yeah.
I think he needs to get back to the pool and take the instructor's advice. Sit down and feet up. Let's hope this next adrenaline junkie pays closer attention to his instructor. Because if he gets this wrong, he stands to lose a lot more than his dignity. This clip, showing a student skydiver taken to the skies, has been viewed over 18 million times. Skydiving professional Sergeant Major Dean Walton of the Red Devils freefall display team, talk us through it.
This guy looks to me, he's learning to skydive and he's with an accelerated freefall instructor, or AFF. Great exit, but we've all been there. When we started to learn to skydive, I've had my share of exits like that. So nice body position, nice arch position there. Looks like he's trying to do his turns. And looks like his position's going there. It looks like something wrong.
It turns out there is something very wrong. The student skydiver has experienced a seizure while free-falling from 9,000 feet and is unable to deploy his parachute.
Right, so the instructor's now obviously sees that there's something wrong and is trying to get to the student, which is incredibly difficult in freefall as the student's on his back, rotating, so he's going to be building up that speed really quickly.
Plummeting to the ground at almost 120 miles per hour and only a minute from certain death, the instructor has to act fast. He puts his 20 years of experience into practice and gets to his student just in time.
The instructor's done a great job there to get to him, seen that there's something wrong, and deployed the student's reserve parachute for him. Great job by the instructor there. That must have been really difficult to first of all spot what was going on and then to have the flying ability to get to the student and deploy his reserve for him.
The parachutist regained consciousness at 3,000 feet, landed safely and didn't need medical attention. Although unfortunately, his instructors insisted he make it his last skydive. Possibly the scariest moment of my life, he told reporters afterwards. Might have been the scariest moment of my life too.
Skydiving instructors, you know, it's a job where never one student's the same as the next, and there's so many variables, you know, the weather, you know, what your students like, what's going to happen with the equipment. But it's safe to say, especially within the United Kingdom, AFF instructors or accelerated freefall instructors are really good skydivers. And the course is incredibly hard to become one. And that's the reason why, because things can go wrong very quickly. And if they do, you have to be able to react quickly.
And you don't have to be a rookie for things to go wrong. In the world of free-falling, even experienced skydivers can sometimes find themselves in trouble. About to leap out of this plane is Tommy Ferguson, and on his skydiving holiday, he was hoping to get in more jumps than a bunch of frogs in a frying pan. But on one such jump, things didn't go quite as planned.
Well, the conditions actually were really good when we took off with the aircraft, and once we got up in the sky, we got a little bit more push from the south, and so it was kind of like a fun jump. We were just having fun, and as I'm going to record the other jumpers going out of the aircraft.
But as Tommy dropped down, the wind picked up, and soon he found himself being blown off course.
As I was trying to fly in, I was realizing I was getting really pushed by a south wind. It was pushing me, so my landing area, where I was supposed to be going to, was like, oh, I might not make that area.
That sounds inconvenient, for sure. But at least he has a massive barren desert to pick a spot to land in. Right?
The wind just totally did a 180 degree turn on me, so I actually was headed at a really, really fast speed. And then at that time, that's when I wanted to basically avoid the trailer and not get hit.
Avoid the trailer? What? That great big white thing? Well, that's not... Well, there's no way you'd hit that anyway. Wait, you don't mean that little dark speck up ahead standing alone in the middle of the desert, do you? That shouldn't be difficult to miss. Tommy, you are going to give that trailer a bit of a wide berth, aren't you? Tommy? Tommy! Maybe a bit to the right! Tommy! Bit more than that?
When I hit the trailer, the last thing I really remember is, you know, all I seen was black. I seen black, and I thought, there was no light at the end of the tunnel there, buddy. I was like, but there was no fire either, so I was cool with that. So I thought I'm still gonna be okay.
You need an ambulance, you think?
Huh?
You think you need an ambulance?
No, I don't need an ambulance.
You still need an ambulance.
No ambulance! Look at his floppy arm. It looks like he slept on it all night. Or just smashed it with terrific force into a stationary trailer.
Everybody really doesn't know what, are you in shock? Has he got a concussion? What's going on with this guy? Because I am so with it. I know who I am. I know where I'm at. I'm telling them what to do. I mean, and they're all listening to me.
In fairness, Tommy, I wouldn't say you were completely with it at that point.
What the heck did I hit?
The trailer.
Huh?
Trailer.
Where did I hit the trailer at?
Right in the corner.
What the freak? Did I hit the trailer?
Yeah.
What the freak did I hit?
The trailer.
What did I hit?
You can't bring the table now?
Where did I hit it at?
Eventually, Tommy deduced that he had indeed hit a trailer, at which point he conceded that a completely flaccid and lifeless arm might require some medical attention.
They drove me to the hospital in a pickup truck. I had broken 8 bones and, you know, did the brachial plexus injury, had stitches across my right eye.
You can imagine with that level of injury, the pain would be enough for Tommy to turn the air blue. Well, this is a post-watershed show, so here's Tommy in his full profane glory.
Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, man, that sucks. God dang it. God dang it. God dang it. God dang it. God bless it. What the freak? God dang it. God dang it. I can't feel anything with this arm at all. God dang it.
They did have 2 social workers came in there, and they sat in front of my bed, and they were looking at me, and they said, Mr. Ferguson, you're probably going to lose the use of your left arm. Have you thought about what you might do? And I just looked at him and said, yeah, I'm going to go skydiving with 1 arm instead of 2 arms. My arm was still attached, but it didn't do anything. It was just hanging off of me. 4.5 months after the accident, I went ahead and had it. I did have it amputated.
He may have lost an arm, but he hasn't lost his sense of humor or his thirst for adventure.
You always got to look good. You know why? Everybody's got a camera now, so you got to look good. You got to have fun, you got to look good, and then be safe, okay?
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. For the ultimate in wet and wild thrills, you can't beat a bit of surfing. First brought to the world's attention by Captain James Cook almost 300 years ago, there's 23 million surfers in the world, including 500,000 in the UK. But if you think you need to be by the ocean to go riding waves, think again. One way to deal with climate-induced flooding and rising water levels is to make the most of it, like this pair, who took the initiative when their trip to Cap Ferrat in France got rained out. But rather than let the weather rain on their parade, they invented a new sport, flood surfing. But you could say they just fell into it. It's proof that dedicated surfers will get out there, come hell or high water. If that looks a bit too wet and wild, you could give this a go, volcano surfing. It's hot stuff. No, this isn't a joke. Some enterprising folks are offering tourists the chance to surf the active Cerro Negro volcano in Nicaragua. volcano boarding puts a whole new spin on that game, The Floor is Lava, because it sort of is. Although surfing volcanic ash on a wood and metal board while dressed like a sewage worker is pretty far from what I'm used to seeing on Jersey Shore. Plus, it could all blow up in your face, like it did when the volcano last erupted in 1999. But even if you're the kind of holidaymaker who's more into city breaks, then that shouldn't dampen your enthusiasm for surfing. This is Alison Teal from Hawaii, who decided not to spend her night at a hotel surfing the web and instead went deep underground to surf Paris's catacombs.
This is so crazy. We're going under Paris right now, into the catacombs.
Alison, aided by a team of professional cavers, journeyed some 150 meters underground, past ancient remains.
It's hot down here. Really hot. Very suffocating. Luckily, I brought my bikini.
To a stretch of water that she thought would be ideal. She could just feel it in her bones.
I will never forget this for the rest of my life.
However, we should point out that unauthorized entry to the catacombs is illegal, and with good reason.
Oh my gosh, look at all those bones. Holy, ho, 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 ho.
There's 6 million souls buried in these catacombs, and Alison almost made it 6,000,001 when the water levels began to unexpectedly rise, leaving Alison and her team fighting for air and their lives.
Crap, what have I gotten myself into? Now I'm up to my chin. This is crazy.
Luckily, she made it out in one piece.
I'm alive. I seriously thought I was gonna drown and live forever in the catacombs.
But I'd imagine the authorities had a bone to pick with her afterwards.
I made it out.
In a moment, we're making our way to the airport for our final dose of holiday hilarity. But hold tight, because there's just enough time to watch this zipliner take the plunge in Hawaii. But what happens next? Good to see he hasn't lost his nerve. But he did just lose a tooth. Yes, during all that excitement, he failed to retain his retainer.
Just got done ziplining and I lost my fucking retainer. Only me, dude.
You're still living the dream. I'd give my eye teeth to be ziplining in Hawaii. Now, when it comes to holidaying, our friends and families are usually glad to see the back of us for a fortnight.
Hello guys, my name is...
But that wasn't the case with Daniela do Valle Gonçalves, whose family holiday to Portugal was interrupted when someone back in Scotland reported her missing.
We got a phone call from one of our friends saying we were reported missing. And I never thought nothing about it. I just thought, it will be a joke, I'll just leave it. And then my mum texted me saying she's seen on Facebook on news, and then I said, well, I need to sort this.
Daniela called her local police station to tell them she was okay.
We're not missing, guys.
But fearing they'd been kidnapped, the police weren't convinced.
So I spoke to the police on the phone and I says everything was fine and it must have just been a joke, somebody was playing on us. And they didn't believe was us, and they says, well, they believe somebody was forcing us to say we were okay.
The kids are okay, like, as Chantel, yeah.
She made a Facebook Live broadcast in a final, desperate attempt to convince the cops that she was okay.
Bye-bye. They still never believed us. They broke into my house after that. And my neighbours was mailing me and texting me, sending me photos of my house because it says there's glass everywhere. All the windows was broken because they needed to gain access. And their excuse was because they needed to see if we left any evidence of kidnapping, like if in case we got kidnapped.
Rest assured, the police were only doing their job, even if there was no evidence of kidnapping, just kids napping.
Next time I'll put a massive notice on my front door saying, I'm on holiday, guys, don't worry. Nobody kidnapped me.
Sure, yeah. Then you'll be missing all your possessions.
Bye-bye.
Like all good things, even our holidays must come to an end. By this point, I know some of you are desperate to get home, but don't all rush at once. Oof, I'd say that was the worst case scenario. It's a baggage cart, madam, not a crash cart. Now, as your trip comes to an end, it's really important to leave yourself plenty of time to catch your flight home. Unlike this pair, who clearly didn't. Shot in Houston, Texas, these passengers thought they could grab the pilot's attention by repeatedly banging on the window. Except the plane has already pulled away from the gate. They don't seriously think they're going to come back for them, do they? We asked someone who might be able to tell us why.
There's a phenomenon, I call it airport brain, which is where passengers kind of lose all sense of control or responsibility when they arrive at the airport. It's like they get there and they forget their very existence in life. And I think it's because once you enter the terminal, you are no longer in control. You've got to follow protocols, you've got to check in by a certain time, you've got to put your window blinds up on the aircraft, but they don't tell you why. You know, you must remain seated for taxi, but yet you can stand in the cabin when you're flying at 500 miles per hour. It's that all kind of goes in to create this phenomenon, airport brain. And passengers just behave during the air travel process in ways they wouldn't behave on the ground. And I think it's that not knowing and not understanding all the procedures that makes them a little bit nervous, that makes them a little bit unsure of the situation, and therefore they react in ways that they wouldn't normally.
So, turns out throwing a tantrum won't get you any closer to the tarmac. Who'd have thought? Just make sure you book priority boarding next time, folks. Assuming you make it on board, there's one last challenge: getting your overstuffed bag in the overhead bins. This guy on a flight from the Ukraine is stumped. I think he's just being plain stupid. A flight attendant helps him crack the case. If he struggled with that, I don't want to see what he's like when he gets back to work on Monday. Finally, we're about ready to take off. Your holiday has been a great success. I'd imagine you're probably a bit jealous of the other holidaymakers you're leaving behind on the beach, though. But there is just enough time for some sweet revenge. Hold on to your hats, and beach towels, and trunks, and cocktails. Or, you know, just don't stand behind a jumbo jet when it's about to take off. That's what you call having a blast. That's all for this time. But next time you go on holiday, don't forget to keep your smartphone near and your battery charged. Because you never know what you're going to capture on camera next. Goodbye.